Breakthrough has been one of the best things that happened to us. The founders, Roman and Itban, they're two of the best people I've met at Stanford. When they told me about Breakthrough, I was really inspired by the vision that they had.
So what happened today is we hosted the largest demo day in Stanford's history. We brought in investors to back 20 founders from all backgrounds.
At Breakthrough, we empower student founders by giving them access to how to navigate the venture capital and business ecosystem through one-on-one mentorship from world-class CEOs and investors.
I didn't know what this was all about. I just saw a poster for it and I applied on a whim. And it turned out to be this really fun, high energy time in my life that has really, I guess, flipped a switch for me.
I think the people are what matters at the end of the day. They brought us together and told us that you guys can change the world. And this is something that if you come from top universities, you would hear all the time, but for most of us, it's not something we're familiar with.
The mission of Breakthrough is more than just supporting founders from any walk of life. It's really about changing the socioeconomic landscape of America, because entrepreneurship is the fastest way for economic growth and empowerment.
Bloom boxes are solar-powered computer classrooms built out of repurposed shipping containers deployed in completely off-grid settings.
Helix Carbon is a company that utilizes carbon dioxide directly out of waste streams.
Variant is a meme game social platform where the premise is anyone can make a joke, story, meme, whatever they really want into a story that they can share. When I was growing up, I had ADHD, reading and writing processing differences, and also a speech impediment. Games were the first way I feel like I was actually able to tell a story. Games are a very powerful form of communication.
Pocket Dot is a hardware device that allows visually impaired and blind people use their mobile phones privately.
Vitalify Health is an AI-driven platform that automates patient recruitment, and I built it in honor of my mother. She has ulcerative colitis. The medicine that she was taking didn't help her, and when she went into clinical trials, oftentimes they couldn't recruit enough patients, so she couldn't even get access to new therapies. So I knew I had to make that bridge in the market with my own company.
Cup Boss is a menstrual health company aiming to revolutionize a product called the menstrual cup. I'm really grateful to all the organizers of Breakthrough, as well as the investors and community members and mentors and all the people that have donated their time and their resources to help us get our companies off the ground. I think Breakthrough was really instrumental in connecting me with some of the mentors that were able to give me advice on how I might be able to push my company forward.
Breakthrough has been far more successful than I could have ever imagined. In our first year running it, we had 19 founders. We put them in front of 100 investors in the room, and they ended up raising $10 million to accelerate and fund their businesses.
Our second year, we had 300 students apply from over 100 universities. Between our two cohorts, our founders have raised over $60 million in venture capital in just the span of a year.
Unicorns don't look like everybody else. They don't look like all the other horses in the field. And that's what makes them special. That's what makes them important and magical, I guess. And so for me, thinking about we don't have to look like everyone else to still be successful, to have the potential to create radical change.
Breakthrough, I think, is a life-changing opportunity for me and many of the founders here. I want to first give my thank yous to Itban and Roman. They're the catalysts and kind of the people behind this, and making sure that every founder here has a platform to go and change the world.
We want founders to be limited not by any external resources and be bound by only their imagination, their dream, and the vision that they have for their lives, but also the lives of their consumers, their investors, and the rest of the world. Welcome to Breakthrough 2026. Thank you so much. For one, thank you to all of the investors, everyone that has signed up to attend in person and on the live stream as well. We are really thrilled to have you for our third rendition of Breakthrough. To get started, I want to give a little introduction on myself and Itban. My name is Roman Scott. I went to Stanford for my undergraduate and my master's, incoming JD MBA candidate at Harvard as well. And I was fortunate enough to have met Itban my senior year, where we actually met each other at the airport.
We did.
And that's when we first created, that's where we first got the mission and the vision for Breakthrough Ventures in order to create the infrastructure in order to be able to support everybody in this room, the founders that look like us and that come from our backgrounds, in order to be able to give them the resources and the mentorship and the connections in order to transform their ideas, their dreams, their visions, and their innovations into the next generation of category-defining startups. I'll pass it off to Ibn.
Can we get a round of applause? For those of you who are curious, I think it's SFO Baggage Claim Terminal 1, number 6. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, all right? Well, thank you all for coming today. My name's Ibn Nafi. I'm a master's student here, and I finished my undergraduate in a triple major in computer science, product design, and political science. And this event is amazing. I mean, being able to do this with Roman and all of you is what gives me a lot of joy. And we see that the future of entrepreneurship is youth-led. And that's the mission of Breakthrough. The mission of Breakthrough is to ensure that every talented student across the nation has the access to the resources so they can be on rocket ships of themselves, so they can create economies of scale that contribute back to the ecosystem. And so in order to accomplish that mission, we have evolved a Breakthrough. So it started as just a demo day where we scrapped it together, got some investors to come and had just a few pitch workshops. But since evolved into a comprehensive accelerator program where we deeply understood the student founder experience, having been founders and operators ourselves, which included giving students access to grants, because college students often struggle, and a lot of us are, financially struggling and, as we could say, broke. Additionally, we gave everyone world-class investor, CEO, and design mentors, many of whom who are in the room today, which we are super grateful for, who have done so much to inspire these young students that you will see present today. Additionally, we gave everyone compute credits, about 350K onward, and legal resources from our fabulous partners at Stanford Law, along with Gunderson Detmer, who have been so pivotal in helping us understand the legal nuances of creating and formalizing a business.
Before we get started, I wanted to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. First, I would like to shout out Aaron Samuels and Brian Hollins from Collide Capital in order to power the investments for this year. I'd also like to shout out our other venture investor partners at Mayfield, Andreessen Horowitz, the Wesley Foundation, Emerson Collective, and so many more that came together to host workshop sessions and be able to power a lot of the grants that we're giving to our founders. I'd like to thank our compute partners at Microsoft, NVIDIA, Google, Amazon, OpenAI, and Anthropic for giving our founders access to the compute credits in order for them to be able to build out the AI models and be able to accelerate the development of their prototypes for their startups for the demos that you're going to see today. I'd like to thank our partners at LinkedIn. Shout out to Alan Blue for also helping us out with the grants and the mentorship. And I'd also like to thank Gunderson Detmer, Silicon Valley Bank, JP Morgan Rowe, and the Milken Institute for being able to provide our founders with the legal and the financial resources in order to be able to empower and accelerate their businesses. A little bit about the growth of Breakthrough. For those of you that have been here since year one, that first year we got 50 applications just from Stanford alone. The second year, we got 315 applications from 100 universities. This year, we're proud to say we got 730 applications from over 485 universities across the world. And we were able to select 23 incredible founders that you're going to be hearing from today. In terms of our metrics, our founders have raised over $80 million in venture capital over the last 2 years. We've been able to create 150 jobs from Stanford and abroad as well, from students that essentially get employed to work for these startups. And we just launched an internship program this year where we help Stanford founders and Stanford students and students at the Milken Institute also get jobs with our Breakthrough companies. And then we've also helped founders get visas to come to the United States as well. So in terms of the agenda for today, we're going to transition into our pitch presentations. So every founder is going to present for 2 minutes, and then after that, we are going to transition into open table networking at the end, so that way you can go to one of the 23 booths that are set up and talk to one of the founders and get some one-on-one time with them as well. And then one thing that is new this year is we launched an investor portal, so that way when you log onto the site and you see the companies that are presenting, you can press the connect button and instantly get connected with the founder through email. And you can scan this code right here in order to get access to that site. So I'll give a few seconds for us to do that, and then we will get started with the presentations. Awesome. All right. First up, we have Clairvoyance, which is building biomedic sensors for the next generation of wearables, brain-computer interfaces, and medical devices.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ziad. I'm a Knight Hennessy Scholar and PhD graduate of electrical engineering from Stanford. I studied under Professor Ada Poon, an expert in bioelectronics, who is now my co-founder and is taking a 3-year sabbatical from Stanford to build this company with me. So my mom has had chronic health problems almost my entire life, and several years ago, she became a transplant recipient. In caring for her, we've had to deal with the same problem over and over again. She's fine for a few months, and then boom, out of nowhere, emergency. After the first few times of rushing her to the ER, what we realized is that these emergencies never develop overnight. They emerge from changes that are taking place in our bodies all the time, changes that produce information. The problem is that our wearables, like my mom's Apple Watch, capture just a very small fraction of this information, leaving us essentially in the dark about the state of our health. The only recourse is to go to the hospital and do one of the big scans, like an MRI or a CT. So at the start of my PhD, I was asking myself, how could we deliver the power of these massive scanners, but in a longitudinal, wearable form factor? And eventually I realized there's only one modality that has the potential to deliver this level of insight, but without the need for radiation: magnetic sensing. Whenever your heart beats or neurons in your brain fire, they conduct electricity. Anytime you have electricity, you have magnetic fields. But there's one huge difference. To a magnetic field, your tissue, your skin, is invisible. We're essentially eliminating the barrier separating the signals inside your body from the sensors that are outside of them, a barrier that normally distorts and destroys information for every other modality. And the results speak for themselves. Across applications, magnetic sensing completely blows away every other modality: electrical, optical, ultrasound, whatever. So what's the catch? It's not scalable. Magnetic sensing is so big, expensive, and rare that it only exists in a few dozen hospitals in the country. So for the last 6 years, we've been building a new magnetic sensor. And last year, we had our breakthrough moment. We built a semiconductor-based sensor that is 10 times more sensitive and 1,000 times smaller than the state of the art. We call it our magnetic pixel, and we're using it to build a chip. The first wearable chip that can measure the human body's magnetic fields. It's cheap, it's contactless, and most importantly, it is the most powerful wearable sensing modality ever made for the next generation of AI-integrated wearables, BCIs, and medical devices. We're deploying first to the consumer wearable space, focusing on the heart and the brain, and eventually into the medical device space. Just as every doctor's visit now includes a blood pressure and a temperature check, every visit in the future will include a rapid biomagnetic scan with our technology. Magnetic sensing is the modality of the future, and Clairvoyance is building the technology to make that future real. As of last week, we've mostly finalized our raise, but we're still looking to bring on strategic investors, specifically in medtech and wearables, to join us. If you share our commitment to revolutionizing health sensing, let's talk.
Next up, we have Sayasri, who is building smart insoles in order to prevent diabetic foot complications.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sayasri. I'm the co-founder and CEO of D-Soul. When I was a kid, I loved playing hopscotch with my grandfather. He loved playing with me too, always tried to beat me in the game. But his joy and zest for life disappeared 10 years ago. My grandfather had diabetes that caused him multiple foot ulcers that he was unaware of due to loss of sensation, a very common symptom of diabetes. Eventually, his ulcers became infected, and he lost both of his feet to amputations. Unfortunately, my grandfather is not alone. In the US, every 20 seconds, a person with diabetes loses their lower leg. And turns out this is not just a patient issue. Hospitals and insurance companies lose $40 billion annually due to ulcers and multiple surgeries. We're on our path to fully solve this problem with D-Sol. Our proprietary sensors measure parameters from the feet, like shear or frictional force exerted, pressure changes when standing and moving, temperature, humidity, as well as minute motion changes from the feet. D-Sol is connected to our mobile application via Bluetooth, where the patient receives a notification on their foot health to encourage behavior change. And by leveraging this comprehensive data and advanced machine learning, we proactively identify at-risk regions for ulcers and other bone deformities, producing a detailed report to clinicians. So clinicians can now customize treatments for their patients. We're starting with the $2 billion value-based care and accountable care podiatry practices. From this, we will move to high-risk diabetics under commercial health plans. Finally, our goal is to serve Medicare population with various types of neuropathies caused by cancer and other musculoskeletal issues. We follow a B2B2C model. D-Sol is prescribed by podiatrists to patients who can source it from podiatric clinics, e-commerce. And we're fully covered under existing reimbursement codes. We are already registered with the FDA, and with our insoles and monitoring service together, we anticipate an average of $1,016 per patient per year. Today, we're delighted to announce that we conducted a 150-patient pilot at Highmark's Allegheny Health Network in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And because of our early detection of ulcers, AHN was able to reduce the total cost of care by 80%, saving $45,000 per patient in just 10 months. They loved us so much that we now have a contract signed with them. We also have contracts with the Department of Veteran Affairs and other hospital systems worth $2 million in our pipeline. And this is our team. We are experts in biomedical, robotics, as well as podiatry. I am a biomedical and machine learning engineer, and I am also an MBA candidate at Stanford GSB, also an I-Tennessee scholar. And Jehan has a PhD in robotics and also worked at NASA JPL. Our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Allen, he is the Director of Podiatry at AHN and has 45 years of experience in podiatry. We're raising $3 million to execute on our current contracts and gain additional hospital systems. Join us in our mission to ensure a wonderful life to all diabetic patients. Thank you.
Awesome work. Next up, we have American Tractor Company, which is building self-driving tractors and world models for agriculture.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'd like to introduce you to American Tractor Company, where we're developing the first AI world model for agriculture. My name's Tyler Smith, CEO and co-founder. Born and raised in Arizona, I'm a fourth-generation Arizonan in agriculture, where my family has grown everything from wheat, cotton, pecans, grass, leafy vegetables, and cattle. And growing up on the farm, the challenges facing agriculture today were not just dinner table conversation, they affected what was on the dinner table. Rising costs of labor, fuel, fertilizer, water, and reduction in farmland due to increasing urbanization and changing climates have left farmers with no option but to sell the farm, putting global food security at risk. At American Tractor, we set out to solve these challenges through the development of Terra, the first AI world model for agriculture, which doesn't just predict when you should plant, fertilize, water, and harvest. It's able to conduct these tasks using our T100 autonomous tractor platform, which is designed to use the world model for command and control of autonomous systems like Claude and Codex, closing the feedback loop, allowing for continuous improvements on each and every farm around the world. Over the last 5 months, We've launched 3 pilots, bootstrapped 3 pilots across Arizona and California, and established a network of over 300 farms around the world, which have allowed us to conduct testing on our farm in Arizona, where we're developing the first lights-out farming operation. So the business model and go-to-market strategy is simple. License our world model for command and control of each and every farm while leveraging familiar constructs such as contract farming services to lower the barrier to entry, increase market adoption, and early revenue generation in the early stages of the business. To enable this, we've compiled a team made up of myself, mechanical engineer, PhD, my co-founder, Tilak Raj, background in electrical engineering and AI, and assembled an A-team made up of leaders in AI, robotics, autonomy, agriculture, and automotive industry, led by our CTO, Kal-El Scott, who has a background in robotics, AI, and computer vision systems at NASA. Today, we're raising our seed round of $4 million, and we're looking for interested parties, so we welcome you to join us as we develop the next revolution in agriculture. Thank you.
Awesome work. Next up, we have Field XR, which is building multimodal agents for field engineers.
Hi everyone, I'm John, and I'm part of the Field XR team building the multimodal AI agents for field service engineers. So I've spent the last decade building and deploying complex industrial equipment across the globe, and I've witnessed firsthand how chronically undersupported field service engineers are. Every day they turn up to work, be it for installation, maintenance, or general service work, armed with 1,000-page manuals in poor connectivity environments and with limited remote support. And this is even worsened by the time pressure they face. And this is caused by the massive shortage of skilled workers in manufacturing. And this results in errors, reworks, and downtime that cost firms anything from thousands to millions per hour. This is a $1 trillion problem. So we're building a multimodal AI agent that sees, hears, and feels industrial equipment in real time and guides these engineers conversationally. We leverage computer vision, live sensor data, and proprietary OEM data, anything from fault histories, documentation, and CAD models. And it also works offline. We're not just a documentation layer or a chatbot. We deliver the outcome itself. Work done right the first time. I mean, think of the most experienced engineer in the world embedded within any smart device, ranging from your smartphone to your smart glasses. We go to market through a network effect, where any contract or partnership with a manufacturer could unlock anything from hundreds to thousands of seats. And this is due to the downstream effect of working with their dealers, their distributors, and even end customers. And we capture value through a platform fee and multi-seat pricing that could unlock anything north of $500,000 in revenue annually per manufacturer. We have 3 pilots secured and 4 on our wait list. I'm a PhD student and a Tennessee scholar at Stanford, and I'm building this alongside Balanle, who has a dual master's degree in electrical engineering, computer science, and technology policy, and she's also an ex-Microsoft software engineer. We're raising a pre-seed to build the backbone of every field service operation in the world. And if you believe in the future of physical work, let's talk. Thank you very much.
Next up, we have Chimeboard, which is predicting consumer behavior before brands launch their campaigns.
Hi, I'm Avivi, CEO of Chimeboard. We help brands predict consumer behavior before they launch marketing campaigns. Meet Mark, founder of Velotric, one of the biggest global e-bike brands launching from China into the US market. They spend $150K a quarter on marketing, and yet they're still guessing because there's lack of visibility into brand messaging, audience fit, as well as creator selection. And Mark isn't alone because more than half of global brands expanding into the US market struggle when it comes to product localization. That leaves around 50 billion of wasted spend annually. That's why we built Chimeboard, where we help brands simulate consumer behavior before they launch marketing campaigns, and we do it across creator selection, brand messaging, as well as audience fit. Velotric e-bike actually used us and saw a 20% increase in their click-through rates. Another brand called Wakuku actually used us and saw a 10% increase in product sales. Our team is uniquely positioned to solve this issue because we were previously at the platforms that actively drive the future of marketing. I was previously at TikTok and Tencent, and my co-founder Daisy was at Google Gemini and Microsoft. We're also backed by former directors from TikTok, Snapchat, L'Oreal, HBO, Twitter, as well as working with Stanford PhDs on our proprietary algorithm. Since January, we've been moving fast. We landed 5 paying customers of around 45K in total GMV, as well as have 16 clients in our pipeline so far of around 160K in pipeline GMV. We also partnered with 4 marketing agencies, 2 of which are the largest agencies from China that work with brands like L'Oreal, Samsung, Potmart, etc. And we recently partnered with Stanford Consumer Accelerator, about to help 14 of their beauty brands launch into the US market. We're going after the $1 trillion global marketing spend, and specifically going after the fastest growing segment of around 5 to 10 billion of global brands that expand into the US market. What makes Chimeboard different is that we're not just another marketing analytical tool. Our proprietary algorithm is trained from data from our marketing agency partnerships. Therefore, we effectively model audience behavior at scale, especially when it comes to global brands expanding into the US market. We are raising 1.5 million in our pre-seed safe with 18 months of runway, and our goal is to hit more than 100 active paying clients, as well as 60K in pure profit MRR by the end of that. The future of marketing shouldn't be guesswork, and Chimeboard makes it predictable. Thank you guys so much.
Next up, we have Daniel with Ab Initio Bio, who's building foundational models for biomanufacturing.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel, founder and CEO of Ab Initio Bio, and we're building foundation models for biomanufacturing. So once a drug is discovered, it still has a long way before it makes it to a patient. Oftentimes, the manufacturing process can take up to 2 years, and for every month that drug isn't on the market, pharmaceutical companies are losing $50 million in lost revenue. What that means is drugs cost more for patients down the line, and patients wait longer for the cures that they desperately need. This problem isn't getting better, it's getting worse. One of the most popular areas of drug discovery right now is multi-specific antibodies. These are amazing at curing cancer, but are incredibly difficult to manufacture. And no player in the field right now focuses on how to manufacture them at scale. And that's where we come in. At Ab Initio Bio, we're building foundation models that help manufacturing teams deliver drugs to the market faster. And we're doing that with our first model just released a month ago, Echo Bioprocess. Echo Bioprocess simulates the inside of a bioreactor, the machine that makes therapeutic drugs, and tells teams how to optimize them faster and get to scale such that they could get to market within 3 to 6 months. We've been able to already see that based on online benchmarks that our model has 2 to 3 times the accuracy as public models, and so far we've been able to start commercializing this already. We've landed our first 100K in LOIs and now have a pipeline of over 6 top pharma and CDMO partners who are interested in working with us. Our next step is going to be turning these into long-term enterprise contracts at the scale of $1 million plus, and then building up our lab-in-the-loop efforts to be able to turn this into $10 million contracts down the line. We're raising about $5 million to be able to stand up this wet lab operation and continue executing on these contracts. And me and my co-founder have decades of experience in this field. Myself in computational drug discovery and drug development, and herself in wet lab protein engineering. And so if you're interested in learning more or investing, please do reach out. And yeah, look forward to hearing from you.
Next up, we have Cielo Robotics, which is building robotic models for the next generation of physical care.
Can you guys hear me okay? Perfect. Hi, I'm Evan. I'm the CEO of Cielo Robotics, and we're building robotic intelligence for physical care. Demand for physical care is exploding, and human labor can't keep up. There are over 140 million people that can't eat, drink, bathe, do any kind of basic daily task on their own without help. And help they need is extremely expensive, costing at least $100,000 a year. What's worse is because the aging population is growing so fast, there isn't enough help for them. We're projecting in the next 4 years, there are going to be 10 million missing healthcare workers, meaning millions of people need help, and it's nowhere to be found. To fix that, we built a wheelchair-mounted robotic arm so our users can just take care for themselves. Demo videos aren't working right now, so we're just going to keep rolling. Come visit our booth if you want to see them. But on the left, we have a robotic arm that mounts to the back of a wheelchair, enabled Hollis to pick something up for the first time in 10 years. He has advanced muscular dystrophy. It uses the joystick on the wheelchair to eat, drink, grab, do anything with a robotic arm. And on the right, we've already built our new one. It works with AI voice commands. And in this video, Yugmel asks it to pick up a water bottle. It reaches out, grabs it, brings it to him, and then folds to the back of the chair. We sell our wheelchair-mounted arms for $20,000 each. Insurance already covers it in 14 US states, 75 to 100% of the cost. We collect 84 to 92% gross margins at that price point. What's really exciting is each paid deployment of this wheelchair-mounted robotic arm builds the intelligence layer for all future care robots. So we start with our wheelchair-mounted arms, $36 billion a year category, where each user in our fleet is manually doing 50 to 200 care tasks with the joystick on the wheelchair. As they do those tasks, we collect that data, and we can automate those tasks with AI voice control. So a user can just ask for it to be done, and using VLAs, it does it 5 to 20 times faster than manual control. And that data we then use to automate fully autonomous care robots used to automate a $1 trillion labor industry that can't scale with current demand. Users and organizations desperately want what we've built. We've already collected 440,000 USD in LOIs for 22 units from both users and organizations. We have amazing partnerships, healthcare organizations that are trying to help us bring this to market. We're a team of 3 robotics engineers who were pulled into this by users, who in the past 12 months of building this company have run a PhD in robotics controls, a humanoid robotics engineer, and are advised by some of the best robotics companies on the planet. We're now raising $2 million to launch our first 50 arms in the next 18 months and perform 250,000 care tasks. We've already closed the first 800,000 of our raise, so we're raising the next in the next few weeks. We're Cielo Robotics. We're building the future of care. We'd love for you to reach out, and please visit our booth. Thank you.
Next up, we have Lumaine Health, which is building the unified medical record for skilled nursing facilities.
Roman? You guys look beautiful, by the way. I wish you could see my view. But I'm going to tell you exactly why you're never going to worry about your loved one's care journey ever again. Hi, I'm Justin Jasper, CEO and co-founder of Lumaine Health. I studied bioengineering and computer science at Stanford, and I spent the last few years building healthcare AI at Stanford Biodesign, MITRE, and the Chinese Academy of Sciences. My co-founder and CTO is Zubru Saibo. Zubi led system software development for Google's 2026 Pixel phones. And before that, he did machine learning research at Stanford and IBM. Now picture this. An 80-year-old grandmother has a stroke. She's rushed to the hospital, stabilized, and transferred to a post-acute care facility for the next 30 days of recovery. When she arrives, the nursing staff can see her hospital discharge summary, but nothing before that. No prior hospitalizations, no prior specialist visits, none of it. And this missing information is the difference between a correct care plan and a guess. It's also the difference between a full Medicare reimbursement and a denied claim. So, staff spend the next 3 to 5 days chasing down records. And if grandma can't remember exactly where she's been treated before, these records often never even show up. Post-acute care facilities lose up to $500,000 every year to incomplete records, from Medicare penalties to denied claims to patients they can't even admit because they can't document eligibility. This problem is personal for us. Zubi and I both helped care for family members growing up, and we saw firsthand just how broken the handoffs between different providers truly are. So, we built Lumaine. When a patient is admitted, the care team can enter in the patient's key identifying information to our platform, and we automatically retrieve the full patient record from all the major EHRs, hospitals, pharmacies, and labs. With existing solutions, the care team has to request records from one hospital at a time. But this completely fails when you don't even know which hospitals to ask. At Lumaine, we're patient-centered. We find the record wherever it exists, even if the patients can't tell us where they've been treated. We started building Lumain in January, and after more than 200 interviews with healthcare professionals, we kept hearing the same pain point, getting documents into post-acute care facilities. So, 4 weeks ago, we keyed in on this niche, and we're already in front of 23 facilities with LOIs out and pilots starting in the coming weeks. Now, we're raising a $3 million pre-seed to get Lumain into thousands of facilities. So that way, the next time a grandma comes in after a stroke, her records will already be on the screen. Thank you.
Next up, we have Civic, which is building AI teammates for local governments and municipalities.
Hi, I'm Josiah Griggs, and I'm the CEO of Civic, and we're building AI teammates that manage compliance between local governments and businesses. I studied computer science at Stanford and later served as the CTO of an A16Z-backed company building coding agents for games. My brother and I are experienced engineers who have built and sold AI agents that are used by large companies like Apple and LinkedIn. Most recently, we've been focusing on local governments. We started with an AI phone agent because the problem was obvious. Local governments are understaffed, experienced workers are retiring, and the industry itself is massively underserved by AI. But when we launched our first paid pilot last month, we stumbled into an even larger issue. The most important calls were all related to permits, and while our phone agent could reduce the volume of calls for city admin, it was still their responsibility to chase down missing information and follow up with each caller. Major industries like manufacturing, infrastructure, housing all operate through local government. And as AI reshapes the physical world, local government becomes the bottleneck. Today, local governments use software like OpenGov, Civic Plus, and GovWell to manage their administrative workflows. And companies typically hire consultants to use software like Permitify or Greenlight to manage their permitting workflows. The problem is, despite all this software, the hardest part is still the manual coordination of the compliance process between the two parties. At Civic, we believe the future of local compliance will be agent to agent. Business agents and city agents communicating and working with each other with humans in the loop for review, which is why we're building AI teammates for both sides of local compliance. For cities, we build an AI front office teammate that manages permits, licenses, and resident calls 24/7. And for companies, we build an AI compliance teammate that maintains their entire permitting workflow. The last generation of GovTech and PermitTech built software that helped employees do their work. But at Civic, we're building AI teammates that help both sides get that work done. We're targeting the $10.6 billion industry that is GovTech and PermitTech, and we're raising $2 million to reach our milestone of 30 municipalities by the end of this year. Thank you.
Next up, we have Sante, which is building epidemic and pandemic risk modeling for governments and insurance.
We are Sante, an epidemic risk platform to predict infectious diseases outbreaks. To solve this problem, we need more than billions of data points. We need a technical team that understands the different outbreak models and the transmissions dynamics. And we have that. I'm Mirelli, an MPH graduated from Columbia University, and I've responded to outbreaks globally from Haiti, Sierra Leone, Brazil. My CTO and co-founder, Rodrigo, he brings his expertise from the largest stock exchange in Brazil, modeling health risk at scale. And Onício is our epidemiologist, a global reference in outbreak modeling after working with UNICEF and WHO. The next outbreak is already happening. As we speak, we have hantavirus and Ebola outbreaks crossing countries. The next outbreak is estimated to cost up to 33 trillion. The problem is that reinsurance companies, they price epidemic risk based on historical claims. And that pricing method for an epidemic risk that moves in real time is wrong. Every catastrophe risk has a data infrastructure layer. Hurricane, wildfires, epidemic and pandemic, nothing. We built that missing layer. The scheme was built to be integrated on real time into reinsurance workflows for more accurate pricing, reserves, and underwriting. During our MPP in Brazil, we were able to predict the worst dengue outbreak ever with 90 days in advance with 93% of accuracy. The 2026 FIFA World Cup and its influx of 7 million people is the perfect business case, where we are launching a B2B and a B2C platform where enterprises can check what is the epidemic risk impact for their companies, and fans can check what is the epidemic risk before attending a game. And we are in current conversations with FIFA's BI director. Our path goes from mass gatherings, enterprise, and governments. But what makes us a scalable venture is that we are building the epidemic risk index as a trigger for the first pandemic catastrophe bond for capital markets. We are raising 2 million seed to unlock 5 enterprises after the FIFA World Cup project to land next year on a 5 million ARR in 2 markets, Brazil and the US. We know this problem end to end. We have the traction and the team. Join us to build the future of epidemic intelligence. Thank you.
Next up, we have Vatica, which is building AI co-pilots for chip verification.
Every chip in your phone, your laptops, your cameras has to be proven to work before it's manufactured. Engineers do this by running millions of simulated tests to get their design. If a test fails, they have to figure out why. And that task can take around 49% of a verification engineer's time. That's around $8 to $12 million spent a year per team for debugging. And the demand for these engineers has only doubled in the past decade. Vatica is an AI debugger for silicon. Here's how it works. A test fails, and an engineer points Vatica to their project folder, their design files, their logs, their waveforms. And then they ask, in plain English, why did this fail? Behind the scenes, Vatica will read your logs, check your waveforms, trace your design, and also pull from an existing knowledge base from past bugs. Under 2 seconds, the engineer sees exactly what you see on the screen here: a root cause analysis, a confidence score, recommended next steps, and we'll even go one step further and fix it for you. There's 3 things that make this work. We're hitting a 90.3% accuracy rate for root cause analysis, beating almost every frontier LLM in our cost. We also learn from every RTL deployment so that we get smarter on your block over time. And we also integrate with test simulation workflows, so there's no rip and replace. My name's Henok Tewolde, and I'm the CEO of Vatica. I study electrical engineering at Stanford, and I have previous verification work at Amazon and NVIDIA. My co-founders, Henok Tillahun and Jichini, have backgrounds in mechanical engineering and ML software at Boeing, SpaceX, and Walmart. We're raising $3.5 million over the next 18 months to hire ML verification engineers and verification leads, secure design partners, and also integrate with existing workflows. Every bug we solve makes the next one faster. Join us in changing how we ship silicon.
Next up, we have Strand ID, which is building low-cost rapid tests with PCR-level accuracy.
Test. Hi, everyone. My name is Min-Sung Cho, and today I'm going to be talking about my molecular diagnostics company called Strand ID. And so, quick question for everyone in this room. How many of you have ever used one of these before? And given the popularity of such a test, you may have asked the question, why don't we have accessible and rapid tests for other types of diseases besides COVID? And the answer is very clear. It's because current diagnostics have a trade-off that forces you to choose between reliability or accessibility. And this trade-off is huge. It causes 12 million errors per year that account for over $100 billion in cost to healthcare systems in the US alone. We've been able to eliminate this trade-off with our novel product called Strand. Strand is a novel method for pathogen detection, which is cheap to manufacture, provides a 10,000x theoretical sensitivity boost over traditional rapid tests, and thus allows for disease detection before symptoms arise. Not only that, Strand targets any sequenced pathogen, which allows it to reprogram this kit in under 1 week for any bacterial, fungal, or parasitic infection. Our first market in the US will be sexually transmitted infections, which is a $1.1 billion near-term beachhead. Afterwards, we'd like to expand into the $100 billion plus diagnostics market in the US and worldwide. We're raising a $3 million pre-seed, which would allow us to have a 14-month runway that would get us to our finished prototype that is ready for clinical trials. Here's our project team. We're 3 PhDs that are from Stanford University, and our advisory board has experts in patient health, biodefense, and companies such as Illumina and Grailed. Join our global and domestic partners abroad to identify and target diseases worldwide. We're Strand ID, and thank you for your time.
Next up, we have TruthSys, which is building decision intelligence for fraud systems.
Hello, everyone. I want to tell you a story. Several years ago, I had the opportunity to demo a vision language model, and it completely failed on me. It was because it couldn't recognize the color of my skin. However, what upset me wasn't that it failed, it was that nobody could explain why this system failed. This made me obsessed with understanding why AI makes the decisions that they do and how we can make those decisions more reliable. Hi, I'm Deanna Owens, founder of TruthSys AI, and we're building the decision intelligence layer for high-stakes AI systems, starting with fraud and risk. I'm a Stanford master's student studying computer science with a background in trustworthy AI research, where I've published at top conferences. We're advised by Brendan Herger and Aravind Arthanari, who have a combined decades of experience in financial payments, risk, and financial systems. They come from companies like Stripe and JP Morgan and Chase. The problem is that fraud systems make decisions, but teams cannot prove those decisions are correct. And this is increasingly becoming an issue because today, up to 95% of transaction monitoring alerts are false positives. This creates massive spend for large institutions where they're spending upwards of $24 million annually just on false positives alone. And that is why we build TruthSys AI. We help teams evaluate decisions, investigate why they happen, and optimize for better outcomes. In this demo, you can see a transaction was flagged as fraud, but we decide that this is actually a false positive and give an even better recommendation for how to handle this case. We also allow teams to simulate policy changes so that when they make those changes, they can see how it affects their production system before even shipping those changes. Our competitors tell you what happened. We tell you why it happened and how to improve the outcome. We're targeting a $50 billion market with a $15 billion addressable market opportunity. We're targeting fraud and risk teams at fintech and payment companies, and through our network, we've already secured our first design partner and have additional potential customers in our pipeline. We're raising $1.5 million pre-seed to hire founding engineers and accelerate growth. Thank you.
Next up, we have Neurosafety Systems, which is ending fatigue-driven losses in high-risk industries. You got this. Go kill it.
Hello, my name is Avanish. I'm with Neurosafety Systems, and we're on a mission to end all fatigue-driven losses in high-risk industries, starting with long-haul trucking. We're a team of 4 Johns Hopkins neuroengineers and have been doing cognitive fatigue research since the day we got on campus. But one day we decided to leave the lab and go to the real world to see who could actually benefit from some of the work we've been doing. We ended up at a truck refueling stop where every single trucker we spoke to had several instances where they almost crashed due to fatigue. Every single one. Fatigue is the #1 cause of accidents in long-haul trucking. It's a $20 billion hit to the US economy annually, and the only solution that exists is driver-facing cameras, a solution that truckers hate and actively avoid. So we built the Nudge, the first headset that's able to tell the cognitive precursors of fatigue and alert the driver when that happens. When our system detects fatigue, the driver gets an auditory nudge, creating an intervention window where the trucker and the trucking management can work together to reduce liability and the risk of life and asset loss. And we move fast. This week, we're signing 2 LOIs with some of the largest carriers in the United States. We have partnerships with Great West Casualty and Johns Hopkins Medicine, and we have clinical trials in the pipeline. On top of that, our proprietary system is at 80% accuracy, climbing daily, and can reliably predict your fatigue 20 minutes before you feel it yourself. Trucking is not the end of this. We see ourselves in every industry where fatigue can't just be automated away and human judgment will always exist, such as medicine, defense, aviation, and so on. We've done research at the FDA, Abbott, and Draper, and our advisors are from Avis, PepsiCo, and Hopkins. And we're raising $3 million to finish up our clinical trials, R&D our headset, and get the headset in the hands of people who needed them yesterday. In short, we're building a headset that is able to end fatigue around the world. And if you believe in ending fatigue and not risking asset loss, life loss, or dignity loss, help us build it and find us at our booth. Thank you.
Next up, we have Parksy, which is building the peer-to-peer parking network for the world.
Hi, I'm Vala, co-founder and CEO of Parksy. I'm sure you've experienced the struggle of parking, but the figures are still surprising. The average driver in Los Angeles spends 85 hours a year circling for parking, causing 30 to 50% of urban congestion, not to mention emissions. And this problem extends to autonomous vehicles as they require infrastructure for staging, repositioning, and charging, currently costing millions. Meanwhile, countless private parking spaces sit empty and inaccessible to the public. So we're introducing Parksy, the first peer-to-peer network for on-demand parking. Drivers set their destination and indicate how much they're willing to pay for parking. Nearby users are instantly notified and simply tap accept to rent out their spot and earn. We launched as Airbnb for parking in Los Angeles, where hosts would list their spots, manage availability, set their pricing. But despite all this friction, our team managed to generate $7,000 in bookings in our first 45 days. That's with zero paid marketing. But we listened to our users and we evolved to remove the friction. So now there's no listings, no setting availability, no setting pricing. Users simply sign up and we notify them when there's actually money on the table. Parksy provides a $4 billion US market opportunity from transaction fees alone. But we don't limit ourselves to that. We also monetize overstay fees, and as we scale, we add in-app ads and subscriptions for network access as well as boosted listings, not to mention partnerships with autonomous vehicle fleets. We project generating $54 million in revenues by 2030 and scaling exponentially onwards. And we're different because we're unlocking the private parking infrastructure for hourly stays, and we're democratizing parking by letting drivers set the price instead of commercial garages. Our team consists of myself, my little sister who's not so little anymore, and our good friend Milad. And together, we combine business strategy and operations, marketing, partnerships, and software engineering, exactly what Parksy needs to succeed, as proven by our early traction. Now, consumer parking is our wedge, but our vision is smart cities. Over time, Parksy integrates with calendars and navigation systems to process AI-driven automated bookings. And as we scale, we develop the distributed micro-depot infrastructure critical for autonomous vehicle fleets to scale. In a time when AI is threatening jobs, the sharing economy is mainstream, and side hustles are at an all-time high, Parksy provides a no-effort passive income opportunity for our community members. So join us on our mission to fix parking today for an autonomous tomorrow. Thank you.
Next up, we have Tenda, which is building autonomous AI coordination for the construction industry.
All right, before we begin, I have a question for y'all. You ready? Ready? Okay. By a show of hands, who in this room has made a mistake that cost them $500,000? Don't be shy. Okay. I certainly haven't, thank goodness. But in the world of commercial construction, this is incredibly common. We heard from one customer whose mistake cost them $500,000 due to approving the wrong shade of color, red. And this is incredibly common in the world of commercial construction, where in this industry, there's a cost of 177 billion lost every year in the US alone to avoidable mistakes. But now you may be wondering, well, maybe it's a labor issue. But surprise, surprise, it's a coordination issue that happens between the design and build. Furthermore, this occurs at the beginning of what is called the submittal review process. And let me tell you a little bit more about it. This is essentially the pre-approval process for every material that is ever needed for a building to actually be built. Therefore, there are 500 packages across the board, each containing 100 pages, and you can imagine there are over 50,000 pages in total. And at the epicenter of this sits a general contractor who has to look through every single PFD file manually to ensure that what is being built matches the design, trying to manage all of these stakeholders involved. Which is why at Tenda, we're incredibly excited today to build an AI teammate for the general contractor. We do this in 4 easy steps. First, it retrieves all of your files across email, Procore, all of their existing tools. And then it reviews it automatically and flags all of the discrepancies with citations. And it routes to the next person in line automatically with a pre-drafted message. And it records in our system of data. The best part is that we're building our own proprietary vision model that extracts construction drawings. Right now, a project engineer spends 20 hours a week doing this manually. We cut that down to 20 minutes. And the best part is we charge less than 1% of the labor we replace today. 1 month in, we're so excited to partner with 5 design partners who define this industry, all the way from Obayashi to Pra. And our strategy here is that every submittal that Tenda processes strengthens our data flywheel to eventually capture the entire coordination infrastructure between the design and build, from 2D forms, construction drawings, all the way to 3D and BIM models. It's a massive opportunity of 60 billion, but Tenda is strategically entering through serving the mid-market general contractor firms. And why us? Well, you can look at our picture. And we're 3 Stanford-trained designers, researchers, and engineers. So we have like over 6 degrees on our board right now, as well as working for the biggest tech companies and exercising our go-to-market strategies in companies like LG, and of course being advised by the best of the best, Alan, who also happens to have a Stanford degree. We're raising $1.5 million, and we're already backed by an angel group that is comprised of elite operators. And the biggest thing that I'll leave you with all today is the largest and least digitized industry is finally ready in 2026 and is calling you. My final question to you all is, are you ready to take the call? Thank you.
Next up, we have Bradient, which is building the intelligent hair braiding device for hair salons.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chisom, the founder and CEO of Bradient. I bring over 4 years of experience building maps for autonomous vehicles at Google, and my master's in AI. My co-founder is a second-time founder and brings over 7 years of experience building Microsoft AI infrastructure. And around us, we have an advisory across robotics, manufacturing, and dermatology. So braiding started with my mom, Ifoma. She taught me how to braid hair when I was 15 because she believed that it was a skill that could make me millions of dollars. By the time I got to college, I was braiding hair in dorm rooms, earning $300 per client, but each style was taking me up to 8 hours. So long story short, I did not become a millionaire by 21. Braids are skyrocketing in popularity across hair types, with braiders in major cities being booked out months in advance. This is a craft that dates back to the age of the Vikings, but today it's still entirely done by hand. The risk is more evident among the Black community, where stylists are being diagnosed with issues like nerve damage and arthritis. And that's why we built Bradient, a patent-pending device that lets stylists work 3 times faster, sensing the hair in real time, and adapting to changes in texture and density. This is a $12 billion market hiding in plain sight, and we plan to capture it, starting by scaling to the salons that need this skill the most, generating revenue through a device lease, software layer, and consumable attachments. Today, we have over 100 salons in the pipeline and a wait list of about 600 customers. We are raising up to $2 million pre-seed to accelerate production, deliver to 100 salons, and reach $600K in annual revenue before raising seed round. And we invite you to join us on this journey. Thank you.
Next up, we have Forecast, which is building revenue management solutions for modern commerce.
I'm Kiran Chokshi, founder and CEO of Forecast. We're the revenue management system for modern commerce, and we're starting with restaurant chains. Restaurants set 1 trillion prices in the US alone every year, but after working in them for over 5 years and in pricing, I saw that their most critical decision is based on vibes. Broken spreadsheets with error reference cells leading to 50 billion in lost money every year just in US chains. And it's across the economy, it's not just in restaurants. So we dug in and developed a proprietary pricing model with a 3-layer approach: costs, competitors across channels, and customer value, unique willingness to pay algorithms, with brands like Pokeworks, 100 locations, already saving hundreds of hours and making better decisions. Now, who's behind this? We have a great team composed of myself, Jeet, and Yasho. We met at Wharton, and they lead our team's engineering and operations. We also have great advisors, including Gary Vee, the founder of Resi, and 2 marketing professors from Wharton. And so we actually have a very big announcement to share with the audience today. Just last week, we launched with Red Robin, one of the best burger chains in the country, to do competitor pricing intelligence for all of their locations. Now that we're generating this revenue, we're getting a lot of magic excitement from brands like Raising Cane's, Jack in the Box, and distribution like partners like Genpact and InKind also on board. So that's why we're putting fuel on Forecast's fire. We're raising $3 million pre-seed to take us to 50 million ARR in 2 years and to generate what we believe will be the future of modern commerce. Let's build the future together. We have some delicious burgers outside. Come join us at our booth. They're pretty damn good, and thank you all for listening.
Next up, we have Spar Labs and Salma, who is changing the future of education with AI.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Salma. I'm a Stanford PhD and Knight Hennessy Scholar, and I'm excited to talk to you all about Spar Labs today. So for the last few years, I've been working at the intersection of AI and education with advisors who are sort of pioneers in the field. Professor John Mitchell was the former vice provost for teaching and learning at Stanford and is currently professor of computer science, and Aditya is the founder of InSpirit and currently VP at Macmillan. But the inception of all of this kind of started in my own classroom. So I taught my first class of Stanford undergrads back in June 2022. It was amazing. I knew then that I wanted to teach for the rest of my life. The second class I ever taught made me feel like the trust between me and my students was broken forever and education would never be the same again. I know that sounds melodramatic. It wasn't the students, it was actually the launch of ChatGPT that made the difference between the first and second experience. So we're facing a cognitive decline. And I want to raise the alarm here. I think we've seen enough in the headlines, but AI is poised to make it worse. We're seeing averages fall across math and reading at alarming rates and in free fall since before COVID. And there was a study done with 1,000 students, high school students, where when they took away AI, those students performed 20% worse than students who never had access to AI at all, which is a clear indication of cognitive atrophy. And so the headlines are kind of all over the place, right? It's a moment of crisis. Students don't know what to do. Teachers don't know what to do. I can tell you here at Stanford, we're trying to figure it out, but we really don't know what to do either. So it seems like the system is broken. And that's why we decided to find SPAR Labs. SPAR Labs is engaging with some frontier questions in AI and education, including privacy-preserving techniques and how to build inclusive design for AI and learning. But the main question that really drove the creation of SPAR Labs and the creation of our first product was, how do you architect the kind of productive struggle that builds cognitive muscle and builds it to last and also changes the future of education forever? And that's how we came upon our first product, SPAR. SPAR is a 3-step process on a single platform. It's designed to strengthen the cognitive muscle, and it works like this. So first, the student goes in and interacts with an AI model that's designed to expand their own thinking, to pick up on those nuggets of creativity in the student's own mind and push them forward. Then they go to brain dump, which is where SPAR kind of exits the stage, and the student is left with a blank canvas to just throw their thoughts, frustrations, anxieties out. And then in synthesis, SPAR comes back to resurface those important threads and lets the student run with them. And the student can also do their essays and assignments on SPAR as well. There's a teacher-facing side for those insights. It's really difficult to do this justice, so I would love you all to go try it for yourselves. And I'll show you on the last slide the QR code. But this is not just an honorable mission, and it's not just the future of our children's education and learning. It's also a $353 billion market by 2030, and AI and education alone is about $32 billion. So our ask, we're raising $5 million for the next 24 months to start piloting and building our R&D. We estimate about 5,000 students that we will pilot with in the first year. And we start right here at Stanford with a controlled study. Our mission is to prove and show that students who use SPAR and on the long run fare better than students who don't use SPAR, even when SPAR is taken away. So we want to make sure that we're building that muscle. And yeah, if this resonates with you, please come build with us and visit us at our booth. And please go play with SPAR and let me know what you think, because I'm always interested to know. Thank you.
Next up, we have Gopher AI, which is turning human actions into robot intelligence.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Jason Okori, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Gopher AI, the next data layer for physical AI. So we're currently in the cusp of the ChatGPT moment for robots, but the data can't keep up. There is 6,000 times less data available for robots in comparison to large language models. We are utilizing 6.8 billion phones to help train these robots to operate in the real world. Gopher AI is a two-way marketplace that allows users to train their robots using smartphones. Users are able to get monetized as well as have governance over this data. We then take that data, label it, and train robot models for foundational teams, robot labs, and research teams. We are currently operating in a $120 million market, as well as have a total market of $25 billion. Our go-to-market strategy consists of the everyday robotics user alongside a researcher, as well as enterprise foundational teams. We are currently in conversation with 6 labs and have a total of 200K human data points. My team consists of me, as well as my co-founder, Chidi. Together, we have years of experience in product engineering, software engineering, and robotics engineering at Apple, Honeywell, and Wells Fargo. We are currently raising a pre-seed round of $1.5 million, and let's go for it.
Next up, we have Carbon, which uses AI to help local businesses recover lost revenue.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dante, and I'm building the customer intelligence platform for repeat service businesses. So, the problem, auto shops lose the revenue they already win, from sending generic promotions to doing nothing at all. And this is a $50 to $60 billion problem in America alone. So I asked myself, why? Because good retention is not one job, but 5 full-time jobs. From segmenting customers, to sending out campaigns, to testing out campaigns. It's a full-time job for me saying this. But when speaking to Valvoline, the Valvoline manager, he said they just don't have the patience for it, and it's understandable. So we built Carbon. Carbon segments the customers, automatically reaches back out to them, and then gets them back into the door, all on autopilot. And we know this works because when talking to the largest detailer in Massachusetts, A-List Detailing, we recovered $18,000 in revenue and increased our customer repeat rate from 28% to 61%. So auto is just the start. We already have 7 other businesses that we're working with right now. And it's not just detailing, it's not just mechanics, other high ticket repeat businesses. And it's not just me, I'm joined by my co-founders who spent our years and our youth in the detailing and mechanic in the SMB space. So we're raising $2 million to get to 700 detailers and businesses in the next year. Thank you very much. We are Carbon. Find us at our booth.
Next up, we have Muskan, who is building AI to help reinsurers better underwrite risk.
Hi, everyone. My name is Muskan Effendi, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of InsureRisk. I've been reading risk since I was 15 when I started my first business to support my family through housing insecurity. That instinct took me through Princeton and into reinsurance, where I became the youngest underwriter to manage multi-million-dollar portfolios across London, Bermuda, and North American markets. Also, where I experienced firsthand the problem InsureRisk solves. InsureRisk is an AI-powered alt data intelligence layer for reinsurance underwriters. Reinsurance is a $760 billion market, responsible for how the world recovers after a major system shock. Yet, it runs on fragmented spreadsheets and pen and paper processes. That is why, when you look at underwriting today, underwriting teams take on average 2 to 4 weeks just to parse and organize data instead of actually analyzing risk. With InsureRisk, we bring that time down to under 48 hours. We recapture 70% of underwriter time and allow underwriters to evaluate 2 to 3 times more risk without increasing headcount. The time to build this company is now because AI and reinsurers are scrambling to build AI-backed underwriting systems. Yet, they're looking for tech partners that not only understand AI, but also understand the industry. An industry that is run on trust requires an AI-backed tech person that understands the industry, which is why I've spent years building trust and credibility in the industry, which is why we have, within a month of launching InsureRisk, received a $100,000 LOI from a large insurance systems distributor, distributing to 14 different insurance carriers. And I'm not building this alone. I'm building this with my longtime friend and CTO, Beitel Tena. Beitel and I met in high school, continued on to long nights at Princeton, and today Beitel is an exceptional engineer who has been rewarded and recognized for her work by Google, Amazon, Lockheed Martin, and so many other institutions. And we're asking for a $2 million pre-seed round to accelerate deployment, product development, and partnerships. As reinsurers are looking to make this once-in-a-generation shift towards intelligent AI-driven underwriting, InsureRisk is looking for partners to help power that shift. Thank you.
And for our final pitch presentation, we have Cora Intelligence, which is building the credit score for clinical trials.
Welcome to Cora, the credit score for preclinical and clinical trials methodology. Evaluating a biotech startup takes so much time and has so many people in the loop, from scientists to analysts, taking 2 to 6 weeks and $50 to $200K per deal, and it remains subjective, inconsistent, and frankly ineffective. We are the team to solve this problem. I'm Gabby, and I'm a computer science student at Hopkins, focusing on data science. I'm an investor at A-Level Capital, and I've worked at Boeing, UC Irvine, and the Hopkins School of Medicine. My co-founder, Zara, studies epidemiology and biostatistics at Hopkins, focusing on clinical trials, and she was one of the youngest in her department at the FDA, diligencing therapeutics and biologics. We are building an algorithm intelligence layer for risk analysis to evaluate scientific evidence and risk faster and with more precision. The core algorithm outputs a score from 0 to 100, breaking it, and I can break it down for you in basically 3 layers. We have clinically proven risk rules depending on different therapeutic designs and study designs, and then we have an AI layer that learns from previous successful and failed trials. Finally, with a statistical analysis layer for interpretability and auditability of where different points were lost in the score. Here's a glimpse of what the dashboard would look like from an investor perspective, looking at a potential investment company. We are transitioning from not only evaluating scientific evidence, but helping to shape it. Our beachhead primary customers are VC firms, but we are partnering with founders to validate our model, and we see expansion capacity to go into other areas of high finance, CROs, and pharma, capturing a $76 billion market. Core is the only tool of its kind that is not only scientific evidence focused, but uses FDA data and evaluates specifically study design and the risk that comes with it. It is an AI algorithm with auditable scoring and decision-ready outputs for every investment. We have already built an MVP using our proprietary data partnership with GlycoX, a diabetes treatment startup, and we have built this in conversations with professionals, and we have launched a podcast as well for visibility, and are looking for more conversations with VC firms for pilots and partnerships. Cora is changing the game for due diligence. If you are a scientist, biotech founder, or investor, please join our waitlist. Thank you so much, and help us change the future of human health.
Now time for closing remarks.
Alrighty, can we have one round of applause for all the founders that presented today? So what you've witnessed is the future of entrepreneurship, starting with the youth. And we have so much confidence and faith in each and every one of our founders, and we highly encourage you to connect with each and every one of them. So, as we close for the night, we want to say a few closing remarks, some thanks to people who have been very pivotal in our journey, starting with Shay and Raihan, two of our crucial team members with Breakthrough. Alongside our amazing community of ambassadors who range from all the schools, the top research universities and state schools across the nation, who have helped us find and connect and support the amazing founders that you saw present here today. Can we give a round of applause to all of our ambassadors? And then last but not least, can we get Ms. Scott, Ms. Ahmed, and Mr. Ahmed to stand up?
These are our parents, by the way.
These are our parents.
We wouldn't be here without the love of our parents and our families. And thank you so much to everyone who came out for Breakthrough today. We believe that Breakthrough is going to be it is a celebration of the next generation of founders that look like and represent everyone that is in this room. So thank you so much for helping us redefine Silicon Valley. And I encourage everyone to transition outside to networking with the founders and learn more about your demos. Thank you, everyone, for coming here this evening.
All right, can we take like 1 minute? Can we get the flowers? Cue the flowers, cue the gifts. Okay. Roman and Ibban are incredible. Like within this entire 2-hour show, they've not spoken about how much they've put into this work. And we think that in creating community and creating access, it's as equally important to ensure that the people building it get their flowers. There's also gifts over there so that they can spend their spa day resting, because these nights have been restless, and we know that they stay up. We know that they stay up with us, and we're incredibly grateful for that. And so if you can bring the little cute. And we will, yeah. Yes. They deserve a spa day, and there'll be a lot of handwritten letters from all of us because we're incredibly thankful. Our gratitude extends beyond words, and you all both have worked so hard. And I know I speak for all the founders when I say that, you know, when everyone always says, oh my gosh, being a founder is so lonely, and it's such, you know, a deserted place. But what we found at Breakthrough is that we all come together and we share our worries. We're very vulnerable about where we are in life. And so these guys have put together that space. It's not because we casually came together. They've put this space together, and it's so important to recognize them. And we hope that in talking to us, you also talk to them too and thank them for all that they do, because we really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.